Ever wonder what really sets those super successful people apart? You know, those outliers. We're taking a deep dive into this book by Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, to find out. And let me tell you, it gets kind of mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Gladwell just tears apart this idea we have about success. Like those inspiring rags to riches stories. He's like, hold on, it's not that simple.
Yeah, he really challenges that whole bootstrap narrative.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, Gladwell throws out this 10,000-hour rule, which basically says to become like a master at anything, you got to put in, well, 10,000 hours of practice. Makes sense.
Right. But there's a catch. It's not just about like mindless repetition, just going through the motions for 10,000 hours.
So it's not enough to just like strum a guitar for hours on end. So what's the secret sauce? What makes those hours actually count?
Gladwell calls it deliberate practice, and it's all about pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. It's about like hyper-focused, intentional effort where you're constantly striving to improve, to refine your technique.
So like imagine a pro athlete training. They're not just like jogging around the track for hours. They're doing drills, analyzing their performance, and constantly pushing their limits.
Exactly. Think of a concert pianist working on a really difficult passage. They'll practice it over and over again, each time focusing on getting a little bit better, a little bit more precise.
And Gladwell brings up this really cool example of the Beatles. You know, before they were like the Beatles.
Mm.
They spent years playing like night after night in these clubs in Hamburg, Germany, just honing their skills, their stage presence, everything.
And those crazy long hours, that relentless drive to get better, it all played a huge part in their, later success. And, it makes you think about your own life, right? Like, are there areas where you've put in those consistent hours, that deliberate effort, and seen the results?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like for me, it's writing. The more I write, the better I get at it. It's not always fun. You know,
Mm.
sometimes it's like pulling teeth, but you see the progress over time. Okay, so we've talked about practice, but what about things we can't control, like when we're born? This next part totally blew my mind.
Oh, you mean the birth year advantage? Yeah, that's one of the most intriguing parts of the book.
Totally. Gladwell uses this example of Canadian hockey players and how a ridiculously high percentage of the top pros are born in like January, February, March.
Right, and it all boils down to the age cutoffs for youth hockey leagues. Kids born earlier in the year are just naturally a little older and bigger when they start playing.
And that gives them a head start, right?
Yeah.
Like more playing time, more attention from coaches, more opportunities to develop their skills, and it just kind of snowballs from there.
Exactly. They get selected for better teams, get better coaching, play against tougher competition. It creates this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy where their early advantage leads to even greater opportunities. And before you know it, they're on their way to the NHL.
I get how that works in sports, but then Gladwell connects this to like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. And that's where I was like, wait, what? Is he saying they owe their success to their birthdays?
Well, not exactly. I mean, clearly they were both incredibly talented and driven individuals. But their birth years did put them in a sweet spot to ride that first wave of the personal computer revolution.
Okay, I see what you mean. Like, they were just the right age to be tinkering with computers, developing their coding skills when the demand for programmers was exploding.
Precisely. So while their success wasn't solely determined by their birth dates, timing definitely played a significant role. It gave them that crucial window of opportunity to develop their skills and get in on the ground floor of a burgeoning industry.
So timing matters, but it's not the whole story. And then Gladwell drops this other bombshell, the idea of cultural legacy. Basically, he suggests that where you come from can actually influence your thinking and even impact your chances of success. It's pretty mind-blowing, right?
It is, and it challenges us to think about the hidden advantages and disadvantages that come with our cultural backgrounds. One of the most captivating examples Gladwell uses is rice farming in Asia.
Rice farming.
Yeah.
How does that connect to success?
Well, rice farming is incredibly demanding. It requires meticulous planning, long hours of backbreaking labor, and a deep understanding of complex irrigation systems, weather patterns, and soil conditions.
Okay, yeah, that sounds intense.
It is, and Gladwell suggests that this cultural legacy of hard work, persistence, and problem solving has had a lasting impact. He argues it might even contribute to the strong math skills often observed in Asian cultures.
Wow, that's a fascinating connection, and it makes you think. Like, what about our own cultural backgrounds? How have our family traditions, the values we were raised with, maybe even the work ethic instilled in us, shaped our own paths?
Absolutely. We all inherit these patterns of thought and behavior from our culture, and they shape how we approach challenges, how we view success, even how we interact with the world.
It's like this hidden hand guiding us, even if we're not aware of it. And, this all ties back to Gladwell's main argument that success isn't just about innate talent. Outliers really hammers home the point that opportunity plays a huge role.
Yeah, it really dismantles that whole self-made myth. It's not just about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Even the most brilliant minds need the right doors to open for them.
Like, Gladwell talks about Bill Gates having access to a computer at 13 back in the 1960s. That's unheard of. It gave him a massive head start in developing those crucial coding skills.
It did, and it highlights how opportunity can be just as important as talent. While luck is certainly a factor, Gladwell also points out that successful people are often incredibly good at recognizing and seizing those opportunities when they arise.
It's like they have this radar for spotting potential, you know? And they're not afraid to take risks, to step outside their comfort zones, to really go after what they want. So it's not just luck, it's also about being prepared, being open to possibilities, and being willing to act when the right door opens. And that's something we can all learn from, right?
It is. It makes you wonder about those turning points in your own life. Have you had a Bill Gates moment, an opportunity that seemed small at the time but ended up having a huge impact?
Yeah, like that chance encounter that led to a new job, or that random decision to take a class that sparked a passion, or maybe just that time you decided to say yes to something that scared you. Those moments can change everything, can't they?
They really can, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from Outliers. It's not just about talent or hard work, it's about being aware of the opportunities around us and being ready to make the most of them when they come our way.
I love that. It's so hopeful, so empowering. And it's a great reminder that success isn't some magical formula. It's a complex mix of factors, timing, cultural influences, deliberate practice, and yeah, bit of luck. But ultimately, it's about recognizing and seizing those opportunities when they come knocking.
Exactly. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and be ready to step through that next open door. You never know where it might lead.
Gladwell's Outliers is a fantastic read and offers a whole new way of looking at success. Highly recommend checking it out. And, who knows, your next Bill Gates moment might be just around the corner. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.